Hey everyone, imagine this. You're healthy, sharp, and independent. Then one day, a stroke hits, or early onset dementia creeps in. Suddenly, you're no longer able to manage your money or make decisions. But before this tragedy happened, you had already put in place a powerful shield, a lasting power of attorney, also known as the LPA. In today's video, we'll explore how a lasting power of attorney is one of the most crucial legal documents you can ever create. Not just to protect your assets, but to give you peace of mind to your loved ones. We'll break it down in simple terms and I'll share real insights from an article published in the Straits Times known as How a Lasting Power of Attorney Can Guard Against Financial Abuse. Let's start with the basics. A lasting power of attorney is a legal document where you, the donor, D-O-N-O-R, voluntarily appoint someone you trust, called a donee, D-O-N-E-E, to make decisions on your behalf if you lose mental capacity. In Singapore, anyone aged 21 years and above can create an LPA. And trust me, it's better to do this when everything is calm and stable. There are two main types of decisions your donee can make. First, personal welfare, things like where you live, how you are cared for. Second, property and financial matters, managing your bank accounts, taxes, and investments. The beauty of an LPA is its flexibility. You can choose one donee to handle everything, or two, one for welfare, one for finances. Or you can make both of them agree jointly on all decisions, what some people call two key to one lock approach. This creates a system of checks and balances, making financial abuse less likely. And here's the kicker. The law punishes donees who abuse their powers. In other words, your appointed donee doesn't get to run wild. There are boundaries. For example, in Form 2 of the LPA, you can even specify that any large expenditure must first be approved by a judge. Now, there are two forms you can use to make an LPA, Form 1 and Form 2. Form 1 is the standard option, cost-effective and straightforward. It gives broad powers to one or two donees. Form 2 is for more complex arrangements. Maybe you want to appoint more than two donees or include very specific instructions, for example, how to manage your business or your finances. Form 2 must be drafted by a lawyer. That's where we come in. And here's the good news. The registration fees for Singapore citizens have been waived until March of 2026. After that, it will cost $70. For permanent residents, it's $90 and foreigners pay $230. So now is a really good time to set one up. The actual registration happens online via the Office of the Public Guardian portal. It's secure and digital. You and your donees can view it using SingPass. And if life changes, a divorce, death, bankruptcy, you can always revoke and update your LPA as long as you still have mental capacity to do so. But here's a word of caution. An LPA registered in Singapore only applies to your assets in Singapore. If you own property in Malaysia, for instance, you will need a separate power of attorney over there. Malaysia does not have an LPA framework, so you'll need a lawyer to draft an irrevocable power of attorney, and it's not cheap. So why does all of this matter? Because the older we get, the more vulnerable we become. According to the Ministry of Social and Family Development, by September 2024, over 233,000 Singaporeans aged 50 years and above had registered LPAs, a 32% increase in just over a year. This shows growing awareness. But that also means there are still hundreds of thousands who have not. If you lose your mental capacity without an LPA, your family will have to apply to the court to be appointed as your deputy, a process that takes time, legal fees, and emotional stress. And in that gap, your finances may be misused, frozen, or abused. The essence of setting up an LPA is this. Do it before the crisis hits. Just like how we buy insurance before the accident. You don't wait till your house is on fire to start looking for coverage. One expert quoted in the article, Ms. Das, calls this personal readiness infrastructure, putting the right people, roles, and documents in place before disaster strikes. This quiet preparation, calm, deliberate, and mindful, reflects a deeper truth. When the mind is clear, decisions are wise. When there is clarity, there is less suffering. Let me end with this thought. One day, all of us will fade. That's the impermanence of life. But before we do, we can leave behind structure, clarity, and protection for those we love. The LPA is more than a legal form. It is an act of compassion, of foresight, of love. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.